With that in mind, everybody, welcome to the show today. Thank you very much, all of you guys, for joining. We're currently really just getting started with the show today, but we have a huge topic to discuss today. For any of you guys who know anything about Onision and the recent allegations that's around him, things have definitely progressed in that avenue. Last night, Chris Hansen interviewed Repzion, and they discussed Onision at length. There was a lot of things that kind of came out and kind of transpired from that interview, which I'm going to be talking about today. I've also got a couple of clips I'm going to be playing, and I've got a lot of tweets that I want to talk about and mainly laugh at if I can. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to jump into things. Hi there, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. You got a really, really fucking long name, but cool. How's it swinging? It's swinging pretty good today, I'd say. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. So yeah, I really do want to jump into things nice and quickly today. So I'm going to be starting us off from the top, guys. I feel like some some people who are going to be commentating this will probably play the entire video from Chris Hansen, or like large amounts of it. I don't really want to do that today, mainly because I don't really like using other people's like content for my own content. But I really felt like there were certain things that happened during that interview that I found very interesting. Not as much as I'd like, I'd say. I was kind of expecting to really be on the edge of my seat with that interview, but I actually found Repzion it was quite informative, but I wasn't like, I got quite bored, and that isn't necessarily like a poor reflection of him. I definitely don't think so. It's just, I guess I kind of expected more from it. But what I will say in regards to it is, it was definitely better than the Blair White interview, in my opinion. But, tomato, in that regard. Isn't Chris Hansen the guy from To Catch a Predator? He is. Chris Hansen is exactly that person. And Chris Hansen has more recently moved to YouTube. He is live streaming on here. He is working with various influencers and YouTubers on here, and he's going after like predators on the internet. It's crazy. I would have never expected 2019 to be like this. I would have never expected somebody I used to watch on TV. Wow, spicy. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Noodle Dick. I don't really, I kind of question Hansen's motives too, whether he's really actually trying to help people, or if he's really just doing it for, like the engagement, the viewership, making that mad money. But then again, like, I feel like you can question anybody's motives when it comes to this kind of stuff. He's famous and successful for doing this kind of stuff. It makes sense that he would want to continue to do it and do it on a bigger scale. YouTube Live is like the next big thing. But I will say, one thing that made me definitely think about the whole, like, questioning his motives is the amount of times that Chris Hansen brought up demonetization, being demonetized on, by Onision, by other people. That was like a really big red flag to me. That was like a really, really big red flag. But anyway, so guys, I want to play a little bit of a snippet from this, something that I just thought was quite interesting. It'll probably be about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see how it goes. What's up, Violet? How you doing? So we're just going to jump straight into it. We've got some messages retracted. I don't know what the fuck happened there. But here is Chris Hansen, Repzion, and Vincent, who I assume is Chris Hansen's assistant or some shit. So let's just jump into this.
Since then, there have been numerous allegations, and some alleged victims have reached out to me and to Vincent as well, who say that they were contacted by Onision, a.k.a. Greg Jackson, and groomed while they were 14, 15, 16 years old, lured into illegal, potentially, and probably inappropriate sexual liaisons, and victimized by this.
Yeah, absolutely. The most recent victim was Sarah. You guys have her contact information now, but Sarah was recently groomed. She was invited into their household, or people like to call it the Grease Mansion.
Now let's back up for 1 second. When you say there, Onision has a significant other named
I have never heard that before. The Grease Mansion. What? Why? Why is it the Grease Mansion? But no, I find that really interesting that Chris Hansen kind of explains that a lot of people have already come forward to them with evidence, with their stories. I think some people are really surprised because this is actually a huge revelation. Like, things are actually in motion. The wheels are turning. They may not be moving necessarily like very quickly, but they're moving at some degree, and I just think I think that's amazing. Right. I think it's important for Chris to be on this case. He has contacts to do something about this, hopefully. And I think that's one of the main positive things that I really think about in regards to this. Like, a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people just aren't comfortable reaching out to the FBI or, like, dropping a tip or, like working with the police in order to take care of criminals. Like, I don't want to have to, like, go to that much effort to really... I wouldn't even say it's about effort. I think a lot of people, it's just like working with law enforcement and having to spend a lot of time working with them. It's something that a lot of people get like nervous about. They get like awkward about. And they just don't want to do it. Right? It's as simple as that. But Chris has done this a lot. He has taken care of these people a lot in the past. So it's, in my opinion, it really makes a lot of sense in that regard. But one thing that was really stated, kind of throughout this broadcast, one thing that really came up very quickly, was Chris Hansen. I mean, sorry, not Chris Hansen. No, it was Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen stated that what Onision is doing is pretty much like child exploitation. It is almost, to a degree, human trafficking. And I found that to be really interesting because I would have never thought that. I would have never said that. I'm usually very careful with the things that I say about people because I don't want to say something that's not necessarily true. Like, a lot of people calling Onision a pedo, for example. Like, Onision's actually able to defend that. And that's one issue that I really feel like you guys, if you guys are gonna label somebody as something, label them as something that they can't run from, something that they can't like deny, because there is no proof that states that he's a pedophile at all. But Chris Hansen states that the way his behavior and the things that he does, Onision does, could be considered human trafficking. And for any of you guys who are wondering what human trafficking really entails, so human trafficking involves recruitment, harboring or transporting people into a situation of exploitation through the use of violence, deception, or coercion. So for anybody who's probably, if you're putting two and two together right now, Onision has reached out and, in my opinion, coerced and deceived young women into traveling over state lines, to going to different places, in order to sleep with him, in order to be with him. He's done it. I mean, Kai was like 60 when they started dating. Like, he has done this, right? So, like, when I first heard that, I was like, I don't know if you should have already said that, Chris. That's a little bit much. But now that I'm actually looking into it, and I'm actually kind of, really kind of deciphering that, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I feel like the word human trafficking, or like the actual, the two words, is, to a degree, is not something that you would normally say about somebody, or you would refer to somebody. Like, it's a very serious thing. It's a very scary thing. So I was kind of surprised. I was definitely taken aback by the fact that he said that. But I can't really disagree. It definitely seems that way. At least in my opinion, of course. So, what I find very, very interesting as well is Regina, one of Onision's alleged victims, had this to say: "I contacted you, Chris Hansen," and it's just, It's honestly, guys, I can't believe this is happening. A lot of these girls have just been sitting in darkness as of recent. They don't really know what to do. They obviously have a lot of people kind of like defending them and supporting them. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to these kind of situations, it's good that Chris Hansen is involved in this. Whether he's doing it for the money or the fame or whatever, like, I think it's really, really good that he's doing this in that regard. And kind of, kind of moving on from this, because I feel like this is kind of following up on that. Hansen just dropped the bomb. 2 victims are ready to take steps to pressing criminal charges against Onision. New sheriff in town, boys. Welcome to real world consequences. This has been compelling. A mainstream guy coming in and handling internet shit like the real world. Honestly, if that's true, if 2 victims are ready to take steps to pressing charges, this is the beginning of the fucking end for Onision. This is it, bitches. This is it. Honestly, like, I don't know what else to really say in that regard. This is endgame. And I find it really surprising that Onision is able to sit on his live streams, playing League of Legends, playing Sims, playing GTA, just acting like nothing's going on, like he doesn't give a shit. Making jokes, making like really inappropriate statements. Like it's very obscure to me, to say the least. I don't know. Let's look through the actual list. So I wasn't able to watch Onision's latest live stream, but I do have a list of the things that his latest live stream apparently consisted of. So let's go through them. Let's go through all of the kind of bullet points for this. So let's have a little gander. So first thing is saying that's fucking gay. I mean, I don't really understand what the issue is with that, but okay. I guess if you're like a real like snowflake, you might find that offensive, but okay. I don't really say it myself, but I don't get upset when other people say it. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things, but I guess some people might take it differently, I suppose. Next thing, inappropriate daddy jokes. Does Onision legitimately think he's a daddy? I honestly, that's one thing I really like. I don't like about the label daddy and like the whole DDLG vibe. It's because I honestly feel like a lot of the men who involve themselves in DDLG have abusive tendencies and are actually like bad men who use the DDLG and the kind of BDSM community as almost like a mask to kind of deceive people. And that's like a genuine thing. I mean, I've seen that on YouTube. For example, there was a dude called Beg for Jay, who like took advantage of women in the BDSM community, and like a lot of dudes are like that. And it's a lot of these dudes, they pretend to be alpha, they pretend to be like these daddies, and actually no, they're just abusive men. It's really as simple as that. Not that I'm stating that Onision like actually like physically abuses women. That is not only the only form of abuse. You can emotionally abuse a woman or a man. You can emotionally abuse people. You can, there are multiple ways, and I'm sure, I'm sure I don't have to tell any of you guys anything about that. I don't have to explain anything in that regard. Like someone else that thought he was a daddy is just probably some of his patrons, Brody. Like, let's be honest. I'm sure some do, right? I honestly. Next thing is alluding to being pansexual. I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if he alludes to that, that's fair enough. That makes sense. Maybe he is, and who knows? I don't really give a shit. I don't really care about people's sexuality. Not really a big deal. Here's an interesting one. Asking if his viewers are masturbating while watching him. Well, Onision, considering that quite a lot of your viewers are underage, I really don't know if you should be asking your viewers if they're masturbating or not. It's... like, it really gives you a really good understanding of what the kind of person that Onision is. Somebody who genuinely is like sitting playing a game and he starts thinking, do you think some of my viewers are masturbating over me right now? Do you think they're enjoying flicking a bean over me right now. I'm gonna ask them. Like, who the fuck thinks of shit like that? You know, like, I don't know. Like, who thinks of shit like that and actually expresses that? Considering that he has a wife, I assume he still has a wife, doesn't he? I assume he still has a wife. Why is he a man who is married, even if he's in a polygamy? I don't know. He's just I feel like it's disrespectful to Kai or Laney Bod or whatever the fuck her name is. YOLO, right? Yeah, he has a husband now. Interesting. Be aware, guys. Like, unlike Repzion, I do actually kind of respect people's pronouns. So if you refer to yourself as a male, then I'll do that. YOLO. Him sexualizing everything was something Shiloh spoke about. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. He definitely seems like that kind of person. I want to show you guys his haircut as well. Look at that. Wow, look at that bowl. Next thing is implies saying Kai is crying is sociopathic. Can you refer to me as an attack helicopter? Of course I can, snort cheese. But okay, so this is what I find really interesting, because I actually see this a lot. Like, there have been streams that I've done in the past where people have been typing in the chat, Kai is crying, Kai is crying, Kai is crying, sad face, Kai is crying. And I didn't really understand it. I just figured that you guys were being kind of demented bullies. But I've heard since then that some people say it because Onision used to always say it about Kai. He used to always say Kai is crying. And it's like people are making jokes about the fact that he used to say that, and anytime there's a situation that involves Kai, they say it. That's what I've kind of like gathered. Yeah, exactly. Right. And people are saying it to like show Onision that nobody gives a fuck if he tries to like victimize his partner. And he says that it's sociopathic. So, I mean, I don't really know how I stand on that, because if he was originally using that to try and like garner sympathy off people, I feel like people using it as a response are using it just to like dig at him and be like, we don't care if Kai is crying, we don't care, all right? Like, Kai is just as bad as you. Kai is crying. Kai is crying. Like, I find it kind of annoying when it's like spammed in my chat though, right? Or like if I see it spammed in chat, I don't really get it. I wouldn't say it's sociopathic. I wouldn't say typing 3 words over and over again is sociopathic. And I don't even think the reflection behind those words represent being sociopathic. A lot of people can enjoy or be okay with people crying and not be a sociopath. That means that most people are sociopaths, because probably at one time or another somebody has wronged us, and when we see them like feel bad, we feel pretty good about it. Well, maybe not everybody, but I definitely fucking do. For her to say racism instead of saying he's racist is stupid. Is it? Oh yeah. Oh yes, I saw racism on there. So sexualizing everything, yeah, he did. I mean, that's pretty genuine, Hey, Kirsty, what's going on? We've got lots of moderators in here today. Cool. I mean, that's a standard Onision, I guess. And apparently racism as well. I'm not really aware of that. I remember he was trying to like sound like he was Asian at one point in his live stream. I actually saw that, but I don't know if that's what they're representing. And I don't actually think that doing an accent makes you racist. I can do lots of different accents. Doesn't mean that I'm racist. The concept of what I view to be racist is somebody who is genuinely bullying or attacking somebody for being a different race, holding prejudice against them. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but for God's sake, don't do accents. I don't know, McGinty. I'm kind of like trying to get into like voice acting, so doing impressions and accents is kind of my gig. I'm just fucking saying, but whatever, I guess. Yeah, guys, make sure you like up my stream if you haven't already. Oh, on here, X. Okay, well, People should get over themselves, all right? I hate how snowflakey everything is on social media. People need to calm down. Like I feel like this whole situation with Onision is like one of those situations that everybody can like, rally behind and be angry at, because I mean, let's be honest, he's a fucking groomer, but like people getting mad because somebody like does accents, like get the fuck out of here, man. Like, or like because somebody's like mean to somebody else or bullies somebody else, like everybody's mean, like a lot of people are mean, but whatever. Right, yeah, true, Shell. Yeah, I suppose so, right? Yeah, that is true, Shell. So here's another thing that I saw as well. So Onision said Chris Hansen should stop obsessing over predators. Well, Greg, if you weren't a predator, he wouldn't be talking about you now, would he? I like this account. Leave predators alone. What the fuck, dude? Nice. You accidentally admitted to being a predator. Turn yourself in. I actually didn't catch that, but if that actually happened, and I assume that did, on the assumption that did happen, yeah, that's a really big. I mean, I feel like Onision, he plays himself off as being really, really intelligent, really, really, really smart, but I genuinely do not think he's that intelligent. He's been constantly slipping up. He's been constantly making mistakes as of more recent with his behavior, the things he's been saying on his live streams, and all of these little things. They may seem quite subtle, but any intelligent person with half a brain and a recording device that really capture these and watch them back, it's going to figure out that there are real issues with this. Legitimately telling a guy whose career is taking basically exposing grooming and predatorial behavior, telling him to leave predators alone makes you look really fucking bad. That's all I'm gonna say in regards to that. It looks really, really bad. Fucking yikes. So guys, for any of you guys who don't know, Kai recently did a live stream. For any of you guys who don't know who Kai is Onision's partner, Onision's spouse, and Kai did a live stream more recently, which some people talked about. And I saw this whilst I was looking through Twitter, but somebody decided to sharpen the picture. Somebody decided to sharpen the picture of her to show what her face really looks like without all of the kind of the fog and the lighting effects and all of the. Do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see what her face really looks like without all of the effects? You guys ready? Holy fucking shit. Like, she's really breaking out. And like, she masked it really well in like her live stream and like with the effects and everything, but now that she's been sharpened, what I will say about Onision and Kai is they do a really, really good job on covering up the fact that they are like going through things or that they are struggling, but it's really, really easy to see that that's not the case. Greg has the same skin condition. Is it a condition? Is it a condition? Kai is a guy. Biologically, no. Kai used to be referred to as Lanybot. I think it said diet. Like, I'd be, yeah, like she's got like a cold sore or something on her lip, and it's really just, it's not nice at all. I think you should do a Chris Hansen impersonation every time you read his tweets. Well, hello everybody. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think that maybe she takes like testosterone, but I don't think that's the case. As far as I'm aware, Kai hasn't started their transition yet. From what and some people have like I know Repzion is really like he's really religious and he's like, oh yeah, you're not a man. I'm not gonna refer to you as a man. You're a woman. You're not a man. Like, you know, and some people like really got offended by that. Like, you know, like the people who are part of like the trans community in that regard. But I don't want to get into the fucking Repzion shit, man. Everybody's got the thing that makes them shady as fuck, or like, you know, like not even shady, like just like messy, I'd say. Sexuality. She's confusing many people. Sexuality isn't a choice. Yeah, guys, I'm already gonna get into this because I really don't like. I'm not fucking scholared when it comes to this shit. Fact of the matter is, this person, born a woman. Laney Bot. I've always known this person to be Laney Bot. More recently, they refer to themselves as Kai. They are considering themselves a man now. There you go. Boy. Hi, I thought you were Repzion for a second, debating someone. No, I'm not pretending to be Repzion today. Well, they have kids. Yep. Well, I don't, wait. Is the kid with her? God, guys, I do not know my shit, do I? I really don't know my shit. I know Onision does. I know Onision as a kid. But, oh, it's their kid. It's legitimately their kid. Well, there you go then. Kai has kids. But, yeah. Interesting, spicy stuff, innit? Anyway, I want to stop looking at her face because it's actually... I'm not really into it. So guys, what I really wanted to continue on to say, and I haven't actually even done this before, I actually want to show some reference logging that I've actually seen from Twitter, and this apparently comes from Onision's forums. A lot of people have been stating he gave birth. Ha! All right, okay. Anyway, all right. Yeah, thanks for your input. What's going on, Irish? What's going on, Sheila? How you doing? A lot of people have been saying, like, especially Onision, he's been like, oh yeah, my forum is 18 plus. I don't allow kids on my forums. I don't allow kids on my Patreon. I don't allow kids on my Discord. Like, I don't mess around with kids. All of the people who watch me are adult, blah, 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 blah. Well, I thought that I would show some proof stating otherwise, just so, you know, I can keep on top of things today. Yeah, Manchana, I have never seen that. Yikes. So here it is. Can we zoom in? So as you guys can see, these are some of the forum posts from the Onision forums. Hi, my name's Baz. I was looking for LGBTQ videos and the Onision channels popped up. I really love and appreciate Greg and the community, and I wanted to do more than just watch. I am 14 years old. Next one, I'm 13 years old. I'm 13 years old. I'm 15 years old. I'm 14 years old. I'm 13 years old. Yeah, I don't want to get into Charles Marlowe right now, but for any of you guys who know him, me and him have quite a rocky history. He used to be on YouNow, and basically when he was banned from YouNow, I didn't stand up for him. And he was really, really shady towards me. So, you know, spicy stuff, guys. Put it that way. But anyway, getting back to all of this again. Anyway, maybe I'll cover Charles Marlowe in the future if anything like interesting happens in that regard. But yeah, you know, lots of children on his forums. Yes, McGinty, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, obviously, a lot of children have involved themselves in his forums. I feel like it's ridiculous to even deny that at this point, considering that you started talking to Sarah when she was under the age of 16. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous to even say stuff like that, to completely outright deny things. Anybody with half a brain can put two and two together and know that you're talking shit. Like, at least tell a more convincing lie. Something that we can actually be like, you know, that makes more sense. But yeah, like, you know, kind of going back to the whole, like, human trafficking thing. If you, like, to be a man who spends time in DMs privately with a teenage girl who's under the age of consent, who's like 13, 14, 15, blah blah blah, right? And you are like building up trust with that person, and you are, getting close to that person, and then subsequently, sending them over state lines once they hit 16, so you can have fucking sex with them. That is a fucking issue. That is grooming behavior. That is human trafficking to an extent. That is a fucking mess. That is a fucking mess. Yeah, right. And I mean, is it Greg or is it more Kai? I honestly, I feel... The thing is, and I found this really, really interesting, I read Chris Hansen's article that he put about Onision and Greg, and one of the things that was really, really stated was like... sorry, about Onision and Kai, my apologies, is that, like, a lot of women aren't predators. A lot of women aren't groomers. But the ones who are, they usually do it in a specific way. And what they do is they kind of use the fact that they're a woman to kind of, get close to other girls, or they use their partner. It's almost like by association, and they can manage to kind of worm their way in. But the whole situation is very, very fucking, like, it's kind of scary. Like, Sarah, like, honestly, I have no idea what Sarah's parents were doing, but I don't really want to talk about that. But the fact that Kai was able to get guardianship of Sarah when she was a minor, it blows my mind. It actually blows my mind that could like in any way, shape, or form happen. Honestly, if I was a father and I had a teenage daughter and some weird fucking weird looking goth guy who calls himself Onision and his kind of a strange partner wanted to fucking have guardianship of my daughter, ooh, you know what I mean? Ooh. You're getting the right and the left, yeah, it's some horror film shit. It really is. Exactly. Yeah, that's the way it kind of seems like. It seems like the Kai is the bait, and Greg is the fishing rod, and they're just really. Yeah, it's horrible to really say that, isn't it? Let's read what Star Fuzzy has put in the chat. Nice to see you, Star Fuzzy. My name's Loki. Thanks for joining my stream. Let's have a look what you've got to say for yourself. Kai has said that she wasn't super into the idea of having a three-way relationship. But Onion Boy is the one who always pushes for it. If you read any of his books, there's a pattern to his psyche. I mean, I find it kind of weird anyway that Kai wants to like date other people whilst being married. I've never really been one to really understand polygamy, in my opinion. Not that I necessarily think that you're like stupid or bad for doing that. It's up to you. It's personal preference, right? But I find it kind of strange. And I feel like that whole dynamic, in a relationship is very, very confusing, and it can get very, very complicating. And also, let's say, for example, that you bring somebody into the middle of your relationship. That's probably going to do quite a lot of damage to your relationship. Like if you're, let's say, for example, that you're dating somebody and you bring somebody in who's of different sex or the same sex, whatever, right? And you start having a three-way love triangle. It's a real mess. It's a really dangerous situation for your relationship, because that person can get in the middle. That person can get in the way. That person can cause conflict. And if you start realizing that the person you were originally isn't as good as this new person, you might just dump them outright. It's definitely wouldn't suggest anybody do anything like that. If you're gonna do threesomes, do it with people you don't know and you're not gonna see again, like Jeffree Star does. That's more intelligent. In my opinion. I believe Greg pushed Kai into to want an open relationship, really, but then Kai was like, "Oh yeah, let's hang out with loads of teenage girls and bring them into the fold." Like, I know you can say like, "Oh yeah, like Greg like pushed Kai into it," but Kai is in no way a victim, in my opinion. I would argue that he used to be a victim, but not anymore. I feel like Kai was groomed and became a groomer themselves. That is the way that I'm really looking at it. Yeah, and they have children, which is pretty crazy. And guys, if you actually have watched my streams over the last couple of weeks and watched my opinion on this develop, at the start I was like, I don't really know who Onision is. I don't really know who Kai is. Like, they can't really be that bad. You know, Kai can't really be that bad. It must have been Onision. But as I'm kind of like getting into this more and more, I'm realizing that Kai is in no way, shape, or form innocent, and actually, she seems to be the, yeah, like what's stated in chat before, the bait in a situation, and she seems very happy to do that. She seems very happy to use her position to lure in young, unsuspecting girls to the onion fly trap. Like that is what I see it as, the onion fly trap into the Grease Mansion, right? Um, I just never really had that understanding before. But anyway, let's bring it back to the main screen. I want to say thank you so far to everybody for obviously liking up the stream and being here. I want to say a big shout out to my previous donator, T-Sid. Thank you very much for contributing to the show. It was very, very cool. Vulnerable young girls, hell yeah. If any of you guys are interested in donating to the show, my donation link is down in the description. Thank you. Greg marries women who have been abused or traumatized in some way because he can mold them. And you know what's funny, Sushi? He actually stated that in a video. He stated that in a video, and I watched that video, and he was talking about how he doesn't want people who have a disorder to like take their medication, and he would rather them like not be. And anybody who wants to control what you do as a person and control the medication that you take for your own health, that in my opinion is a huge form of emotional and in a way physical abuse. And I don't like that. I don't like that idea. Yeah, I've heard about that, McGinty. I haven't really seen anything in reference to that yet. But it seems like Greg wants to control the people in his life. And that's something that I notice from a lot of men who pretend to be dominant daddies. And from what I'm aware, Onision does see himself as a daddy, a DDLG daddy. It's something that I've noticed over the years with various men online. It seems like they just they have no interest in actually making the girl happy. It's all about kind of self satisfaction in that regard, which is very distasteful to say the least, in my opinion. But anyway, God, guys, we've actually burnt through things very, very quickly today. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm actually really happy. Like, I want these streams to be a little bit like quicker. I feel like an hour and a half is kind of long for these streams, and I want these to be almost like a long video, so you can kind of watch these in one sitting. You don't have to like pause it or go away. You can kind of watch them a lot quicker and really get into the action, rather than me sitting around for 2-3 hours, kind of harping on about shit. Alright, let's have a look at his message. He does see himself as a dom, but his behavior is malicious and predatory. BDSM is based on consent, which he obviously gives no shits about. Yeah, and that seems to be the main issue, is that some men who are involved in the BDSM community actually do not believe that consent is a genuine thing. Especially if you start thinking about things like 24/7 sex slavery, which is a genuine part of the BDSM community. Some men are really into the idea of having like a submissive slave, somebody who will just do what they're told, will sit on the floor, be a good little girl, and like just do exactly what the man wants. Maybe it reminds them of the old days when women were very very submissive to the man, and like man would go out, the men would go out to work and bring in the bacon, and the women would provide and support the family and do what he wants. Well, the reality is in the 21st century, that is not the way things are anymore. It is not the way, and I think some people need a fucking reality check, to say the least. I don't get how someone could call someone who is not their father a name like daddy. I think the way you need to look at it is ice not cheese. is that there are lots of men and women out there who have daddy issues, who have had problems with their father growing up. Maybe their father wasn't in the picture, or maybe their father was abusive or neglectful, or didn't really offer them what they wanted. And some women, mainly women, kind of look for the traits of a more appropriate father, or maybe just their father in general, in another man. They look for something that can kind of fill that void, fill what they didn't have, what they want to have. And I think that is the idea behind kind of daddy issues in that regard. That's what I assume, at least. Not that I would know, right? Damn, you snort cheese as well? Cool. Yeah, of course I do. I mean, who doesn't? I thought everybody did that. Broken females or those been abused are always easy targets. And that seems to be like a lot of people. I feel like there have been a lot of people who've had some form of neglect whilst they were young. So it's, and especially with like how the 21st century is as well, and how things are a lot more, like there's a lot more chance for you to kind of get affected by something. Because before, we just lived in our little humble communities, maybe in a big city or whatever. There was less chance of us really like getting caught up in anything like that. Just mainly like family members. But now the internet, pedophiles can be contacting us whilst we're teenagers and trying to get us to go across straight state lines to meet them, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So like, there's a lot more craziness that goes on in the 21st century. There's a lot more chance of that kind of stuff happening, which is scary. And guys, it's actually really interesting. I'm not going to speak too much about this right now, but there was actually something that happened in my town. I live in a very small, humble market town in England, and there is legitimately a man who has just been arrested in my little town for trying to meet up with a 13-year-old girl. And apparently, when he went to meet up with her, it was the mother and the father, and they citizens arrested him. These citizens arrested the dude. And like, I can't really go into much more detail. Like, I'd like to show you like the live stream of it, but it would dox me. So I'm not going to do that in that regard. But it's very, very strange. And the bold man, yeah, I believe he's bold. Please don't dox me. Please don't dox me. Don't dox me. Stop it. I think Kai is not really Sarah's legal guardian, but had some sort of medical guardianship over her or something. I wonder, does that make a difference legally regarding the grooming allegations? No. I mean, grooming's still grooming, isn't it? You know what I mean, Rinmara? Like, I don't really think that makes any difference at all. I think what it shows is that Kai and Onision will go to extra lengths in order to secure somebody, and that is a very, very scary concept. I said this earlier in the stream, and I'll say this again. In order for you to become the guardian of someone else's child, don't you need to have a signature from one of the legal guardians or parents? Isn't that like the case? Isn't that the way it works? Right? Or from like a governing body? I really don't understand why any parent would allow their 16-year-old daughter or whatever to, live with a YouTube couple that, even if you know that there are no allegations against them and they're not like a bad person, why would you allow your 16-year-old daughter to live with like two people that you don't know in like probably like a different state? It's just fucking weird, man. They are emancipated? Oh, is it emancipation? Decent, nice, good catch, mate. Good catch. Alright, so for anybody who's watching the stream back, if you have any feedback about this, please put it in the comments. I would love to know exactly the American laws for this and what is. I don't want to like criticize anybody's parents, but yeah, the whole situation sounds very like strange to me. Like, why the fuck did Onision and Kai get get guardianship. It's absurd. Exactly, Star. And I find it very interesting that Onision and Kai would wait until they hit 18 to do that. I mean, it definitely goes with the story that they're not pedophiles, right? That they're not pedophiles, that they don't do that. That they like wait until like she's 18. But to go to that kind of length in order to like secure a couple of sexual experiences with a teenage girl and then kick her out, it just sounds like it's a real like waste of time. But I guess I mean the whole concept of grooming women or grooming anybody or doing anything like that to somebody, in my opinion, is a waste of time. Because it's a bad thing to do. I mean, let's be honest, it's a bad thing to do. Laws differ per state, Loki. Oh, America's so stupid, man. No offense. As for Greg and his partner in crime, he learns of the laws so he can skirt them. Do you think he, like, if you go through his Google history, it'll just be full of, like, you know, like, Washington laws, California laws, Las Vegas, Nevada laws. You know, like, do you think it's just, like, loads and loads of, like, referencing that? Yeah, I heard that, McGinty. I heard about that. I heard that Kai shared naked pictures with these various girls, and there's some inkling that maybe Onision did too. Yeah, that is actually a crime. That is an actual crime to do that. GG. Good game. Enjoy jail. Enjoy prison. Onision has already been known to write documents making them seem legit, to have these girls sign them, like fake NDAs and divorce papers. See, that shit's fucking scary, isn't it? Isn't that scary? Like, it's like making these people sign NDAs, otherwise they're gonna get like in fucking trouble. I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it, guys. It's actually scary. I'm really interested to see how this obviously progresses over the next couple of weeks. I will continue to do streams talking about Onision whenever I feel like it's necessary to do so. Be aware that tomorrow's live stream I'm going to be covering Trisha Paytas and her recent videos. She's got some really crazy videos recently. I'm pretty sure she's on drugs, and I kind of want to discuss that a little bit. But it's just me kind of making assumptions, so maybe we'll tackle the videos tomorrow, and you guys can tell me what you think, which I think is going to be very exciting. Are you leaving? Not yet. I'm just telling you guys, like, you know, before everybody goes. Although I actually do have to go the next 10 minutes, unfortunately. I did want this stream to be a bit quick but to have a lot of information in it today. The thing that can get Greg is the sex trafficking laws, and I genuinely do think that is definitely probable in that regard, and especially like him having a forum where teenage girls are posting pictures of themselves, like very lewd pictures. I think that's I honestly think that's criminal. I do. I genuinely think that is criminal. So I don't really know if necessarily anything's going to come of that, but I would hope so. I would really hope so. But yeah, guys, I want to say thank you to all of you guys for tuning in today. It's been really fucking spicy, and all of you guys for, you know, providing some genuine feedback to what I've really been saying. Yeah, I know, Star Fuzzy. I already talked about it on one of my live streams. I thought it was very, very, very interesting that he did that, and doesn't make him look good. It makes him look very guilty. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, and I am going to go to McDonald's. I'm gonna go to McDonald's, and I'm gonna get myself some fucking fries. I'm gonna get myself like a big fucking box of chicken nuggets. Yeah, I'm gonna get guys. I'm gonna enjoy myself tonight. I'm gonna relax, because I've actually had a really draining, tiring day, and that's why I wasn't able to do my stream earlier. But the fact of the matter is, guys, I will be on tomorrow. Thank you very much. Make sure you go subscribe to my channel if you are new. I would love to see you become a subscriber today. I am live streaming regularly. Thank you, Daz. Thank you, Dominique. I will enjoy my salty fries. I'm going to get a couple of extra packets of salt. They don't really do much salt on the fries recently. Love me. Wow. Cool. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.